I have to admit, the end of the Fever-Mercury matchup caught my attention in a way few regular season games do. It wasn't because of a buzzer beater or a wild comeback, but because of a sharp, unexpected moment of tension between Caitlin Clark and DeWanna Bonner that unfolded right in the center of the court. Clark, still in street clothes due to injury, made a subtle but pointed gesture that exploded across social media and redefined the dynamic between these two athletes. But to understand the depth of what really happened, you can't just look at the clip, you have to rewind, dig back months into what looked like a promising relationship and see how loyalty was given, then shattered. DeWanna Bonner wasn't just another player who passed through Indiana. When she signed with the Fever, it was with the expectation that she'd bring veteran leadership to a young rising squad. And Caitlin Clark wasn't just along for the ride. She publicly endorsed Bonner, celebrated her legacy, and even said she wanted to win a ring for her. This wasn't marketing fluff. It was a genuine endorsement from the league's biggest rising star. Clark gave Bonner respect, credibility, and public loyalty. But that loyalty wasn't reciprocated. After just 9 games, Bonner requested a release. No conversations, no goodbyes, just silence. She ghosted the team and left without a trace. To outsiders, it may have looked like a normal business decision, but inside that locker room, it was deeply personal. Teammates were blindsided. Sophie Cunningham later revealed on her podcast that Bonner didn't even send a goodbye text. That level of disregard turned what could have been a simple roster move into an emotional landmine, especially for Clark. When someone puts their name and trust on the line for you, vanishing without a word is more than unprofessional. It's betrayal. And Clark isn't one to forget. She stores these moments, files them away, and waits for her chance to respond. What makes this story even more complex is that Clark and Bonner had history long before the season. Go back to a playoff game when Bonner was with Connecticut. The Fever and Sun were locked in a high-stakes battle. During one crucial possession, Clark drove to the hoop, took contact, and waited for a whistle that never came. Bonner was nearby. Clark was furious. A brief verbal exchange, a slight shove, nothing headline-grabbing, but it planted a seed. For Bonner, it was just another playoff scrap. For Clark, it was stored data, filed away for future use. That brings us to September 2nd, 2025. Fever versus Mercury. Clark was out with a groin injury, her 19th straight missed game. She wasn't even in uniform. Most assumed she'd be invisible that night. But what happened next proved why she's more dangerous than ever, even when sidelined. During a timeout, Bonner got into it with the refs, animated, loud, over the top. That's not unusual for a vet. But where it happened mattered. Bonner marched right in front of the Fever bench, right in front of Clark. It wasn't an accident. It was a message. A veteran trying to show a sidelined rookie that she still ran the show. But Bonner underestimated her opponent. Clark didn't flinch. She stood up, still in her sweats, calm and surgical. Then came the moment. No yelling. No bravado. Just a quiet, deliberate correction. It's not a foul. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Each repetition colder, sharper. It was enough to stop Bonner mid-rant. The arena mics caught it all, broadcast straight to fans at home. In seconds, a simple rebuttal shifted the power dynamic. Clark had put Bonner on notice without even lacing up her sneakers. Bonner tried to hold on to her swagger, but the damage was done. Then came the gesture. The wave. Not a friendly wave, not a dismissive hand flick. It was something colder. Slower. It was the kind of wave you give when someone's no longer worth arguing with. The kind of gesture that turns a disagreement into humiliation. With one motion, Clark told Bonner, and the entire league, that she saw her as irrelevant. A ghost from a broken alliance. The crowd didn't just react. They erupted. Online, the wave spread like wildfire. Memes, GIFs, hot takes, all within minutes. Bonner had 19 points that night, but nobody cared. The conversation wasn't about stats. It was about the moment, the wave that cut deeper than any bucket. Bonner, a decorated vet, was reduced to a viral footnote. For Clark, it was cold revenge, perfectly timed, perfectly executed. And it didn't stop at the final buzzer. The internet crowned it the moment of the season. Fans dubbed Bonner pressed, finished, and background noise. The power of Clark's gesture wasn't in its flair, it was in its precision. It stripped away all pretense and laid bare the imbalance. A rookie, silenced by injury, managed to dominate the conversation with one flick of the wrist. Bonner came in trying to assert dominance. She walked out with a permanent dent in her narrative. For Clark, it wasn't about clout. It was about setting the record straight. That wave wasn't random. It was calculated, and everyone watching felt it. Bonner had tried to make Clark look powerless. Instead, she exposed her own vulnerability. Clark flipped the whole scenario with ruthless efficiency. The street-clothed rookie came off looking more in control than anyone else on the court. And that's the danger of underestimating her. She doesn't need to score to control the game. She doesn't need to play to win the moment. She simply understands the stakes and strikes when the impact will echo the loudest. What's more chilling is the broader implication. This wasn't just about Bonner. This was about the league, the veterans, the media, everyone who's tried to undermine Clark's rise. She sees it all, remembers it all, and when the time comes, she doesn't retaliate impulsively. She waits for her moment to make it unforgettable. The wave was more than a viral meme. It was a thesis statement. A declaration that no matter what's thrown her way, Clark is always 2 steps ahead. And the league isn't ready for what's coming next. Because if this is the kind of statement she can make while injured, what happens when she's fully healthy? What happens when she's back on the court with the power to score, to dominate in real time? Bonner's wave was just a prologue. The opening chapter of a long game. Clark is playing with eerie precision. Each slight, each betrayal, each whispered doubt from league veterans, it all gets filed away, added to the archive. And when the time comes, she delivers her response not with fury, but with devastating coolness. That should terrify the WNBA. Because they're not just dealing with a great player. They're dealing with a force that's rewriting the rules of stardom, control, and narrative power. Caitlin Clark doesn't just perform, she dismantles. And every viral clip, every calculated moment like the wave, only fuels her legend. What we witnessed wasn't random conflict. It was the unveiling of a broader strategy. DeWanna Bonner was just the first in line. And whether the league likes it or not, the new era has arrived, and its architect wears number 22. Perform, she dismantles. And every viral clip, every calculated moment like the wave, only fuels her legend. What we witnessed wasn't random conflict. It was the unveiling of a broader strategy. DeWanna Bonner was just the first in line. And whether the league likes it or not, the new era has arrived, and its architect wears number 22.